My dad has always done a pretty good job about passing down important pieces of wisdom, but on his own terms. For instance, one of my earliest memories was when I was 5 years old, and I came home so excited to tell my dad about my new friend, Michael. Yeah, Dad, he's got those light-up sneakers, and he's really fun. I really like my chocolate friend, Michael. What do you mean, chocolate friend? Well, his skin looks like chocolate, so he's my chocolate friend. So you're his milk friend. No, Dad, my skin isn't milk. Well, his skin isn't chocolate. We don't talk about people's skin like that. He's just your friend. Now go out and play. And just like that, my father had a digestible conversation about racism with his son. Or this other time, when I was in 6th grade and I had the brilliant idea to ride my scooter down a half pipe. When I fell, I got a whole bunch of splinters up in my belly. And as I'm laying down so my mom can sit there and go at me with a set of tweezers and some rubbing alcohol, my dad's just sitting there and goes, well, dude, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. My now motto I use for my daily battle against lactose intolerance. We got to survive, y'all. My dad also let me know early on that life is pretty hard. So if you're able to, you help somebody out. You might even make a friend out of it, which is exactly what 4-year-old me did when I saw this little boy holding my teacher, Miss P. Garza's hand at recess, which to any kid should be considered a crime because there's a whole world to be explored on a playground. I asked Miss P. Garza, why wasn't he able to play with the rest of us? And she explained, Dante falls sometimes, so it's safer for her to be by him. Now I'm going to take a quick sidebar real quick. I would be what my mother described as sturdy my entire life. I was born 2 months premature and came in at a hefty 10 pounds. I didn't fall off a changing table once, she said. I was built a little Ford tough, as they would say. So I proposed to Miss P. Garza. If I promised to hold on to Dante's hand and not let him fall, could he come and play with us? And with a look of hope in both of our eyes, she had no real choice. Our friendship was ignited from there. We became recess buddies and hallway buddies and field trip buddies. And Dante told me that he loved playing video games and he loved sunflowers and he thought they were really cool. And I thought that was really cool. And he told me he's got a cousin named Austin, just like the town. And we both agreed that chicken rings were the best thing that the school had to offer. We were inseparable. So much so that even though we were in separate classes, halfway through the school year, the school had no real choice and decided to put us in the same class just so we could still be near each other. I sort of became Dante's helper, and in a way, he became mine. Even after school, we were thick as thieves. My dad was a florist, and he actually had his own flower shop. So when Dante's mom needed a job, it only made sense because my dad, who is the way he is, that he offered her a receptionist position. So we got to hang out even after school. We had lemonade stands, and we went to the carnival together. Being an only child, I often wondered what it would be like to have a sibling, and hanging out with Dante was the closest I ever got to that. I thought Dante was the coolest person I ever met, and he thought I was too. Eventually, I learned the reason why Dante fell sometimes was not because of the loose gravel you see at playgrounds, but rather because he had something called muscular dystrophy. A pretty severe case, in fact. If you're unfamiliar with what muscular dystrophy is, it's a genetic condition that causes muscle weakness and eventual muscle loss. If you've ever seen firefighters filling a boot with money, that's usually the cause that they're raising it for. But diseases don't really exist to a kid. We're too busy trying to figure out which Dallas Cowboy we're going to say we are when we catch in the football. We're Superman trying to save the city that is our playground. And we're running up the slide before our teacher can find us and tell us to stop. And Dante still did all of those things. He just needed a little bit more time to catch that football. And the city that was our playground always got saved. And he just needed to hold my hand so we could run up the slide together. It was a little slippery for him, but he always made it up to the top. Slowly but surely, though, my hand got replaced by a walker as the disease did what it does. He would need to move 2 hours north to San Antonio to seek medical treatment. We're in second grade at this point, so time and distance are really difficult to understand still. But as time and experiences go on, we aren't able to see each other as much, but we do our best to check in. And no matter what, I always thought about Dante, what he was doing, how he was living, how he was making people laugh. But as much as I hate to admit it, life did get in the way. And we kind of lost touch after a while, but until one day in my town's Walmart, which was basically our mall, if you're from a town with more livestock than people, then you know what that means. I see Dante and his grandparents, and we all hug each other, and my spirits are sky high, and we're catching up, and we're in high school at this point. So we're no longer to the confines of slides and pebbles stuck in our shoes. In the midst of everything, I didn't really give it much thought, but once we said our goodbyes and our see you laters, and we started heading back to the car, I began to process. Dante's in a wheelchair at this point, with not much of an ability to move. His voice isn't very strong, but his eyes and charm can really light up a room still. After a little bit of time, I finally pipe up with, he's not going to get any better, is he? And my mother, God love her, started sweetly, oh, you never know, sweetie. He's young and strong. And before she could continue, my dad chimed in with, probably not, baby boy. And it was quiet the rest of the way home. A few months later, on October 21st, 2010, Dante Rodriguez passed away. When the sunflowers are in full bloom, I don't do well with death. Hot take. But I just couldn't understand how somebody my age could die. I mean, my papo, he had Alzheimer's and he was old. It made sense. I didn't like it, but I understood. 16-year-olds don't die. He should have been getting his license. He should have been debating whether to go to prom stag or to go with somebody. The 16-year-olds don't die, but the most influential person in my life just proved to me that they can. And nothing in my life would have prepared me for that. I didn't eat, sleep, or crawl out from my bed that entire weekend. Till eventually, my dad came to my room with a glass of water. Hey, dude, here you go. Take slow sips. Your throat's probably raw. You doing okay? I took a sip and just unleashed. This doesn't make any sense. We went to church. He prayed, I prayed. We were good kids. We did what we were supposed to do, Dad. He was the best friend anybody could ask for. He was the best human anybody could hope to be. I thought if we did what we were supposed to do, then God would take care of us because you told me that. But now my best friend's dead, and who did God take care of there? I only stopped because I lost complete control of my voice at that point. My father stood there and took his lashing as what I can only imagine he thought was his penance for giving me the beauty and the burden of the gift that is life. With pools welling in his eyes, he cut me off before I could continue. I know, baby boy. I know. You can be mad. You can be mad at me. You can be mad at the doctors. You can be mad at God. You're allowed to be. But I'm sorry. He's gone. And there is nothing in this world that's going to bring him back. And for that, I am truly sorry. You don't have to figure that out today, tomorrow, the next month, next year. But what you can do is live proud and grateful in the fact that you were lucky enough to call Dante your friend. But you also have to remember that just as much as this is your first time going through this, it's mine too. And he turned on my box fan and left the room. Life don't give you an instruction manual. I doubt they give you one when you're a parent. My dad had to learn how to grieve a child and his own son's innocence all at once. In a split instance, I learned that life can be beautiful and cruel all at once. And my dad didn't know that I didn't know that. Since that time, I have done my very best to remember that this is our first time doing anything in this life, and it is A-okay to freak out about it every now and then. I would be doing my pops a disservice if I called him Superman, because Superman could not do what Johnny Boy Salinas did. Besides, Superman is for the playground. My pops has a quick wit, a smart mouth, and a damn good lemon raspberry bundt cake recipe. He allowed me to use the compass that is my heart to navigate through life. He also allowed me to fuck around and find out through life. But he was never too far if I found out a little bit too hard. Additionally, I am an only child. So I can't tell you what it's like to hide my fruit roll-ups in the pantry for my brother. And I can't tell you what it's like to interrogate my sister's boyfriend's new... I can't tell you what it's like to interrogate my sister's new boyfriend. My dad told me that my mom and him decided that it was best this way. I'd be allowed to pick my own siblings through life. I only get to walk this earth once, and damn am I glad I got to do it when Dante was here. So yes, I can't tell you what it's like to live with a brother, but I can certainly tell you what it's like to lose one. Thank you.